All right, we're back. This is Between the Lines, fueled by Gatorade, voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, Ben Leber. I'm Gabe Henderson. Vikings fall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today at Raymond James Stadium. Final score 26-14. And PA, I'm going to start with you with the obvious. Dan Bailey, 3 missed field goals, 1 missed extra point. We leave 10 points on the field today. Like, your thoughts?
Why do I got to get that one first?
Because you're the voice.
All right. Dan Bailey has proven throughout his career he's one of the most accurate kickers in the history of the NFL. When the extra points went back to the 15 in 2015, he hit 94 consecutive through the end of 2017. Clearly there's a problem now. Question is the problem with Bailey, or has this special teams amoeba of negativity just sucked everything out of Dan? I mean, Dan, hey, I'm just going to lay it out like this right now. Bailey needs to be on the team next week. That's it. Needs to be on the team next week. He's been too good throughout his career. I'll end it at that.
I do have to say this. With the 3 missed field goals and 1 extra point, he is the first kicker since 1961 to do that. That is not really good, but I want to talk about something else that wasn't good today, Ben. The defensive pass interferences. Yeah. We had one on a Hail Mary, the first time that's happened since 2009. One of your tweets, you said there's no way we call a pass interference right there. Could you explain that?
It's sad in our game we have to go deep in the annals of history to find comparisons, all the way back to 1961 and then that DPI on the Hail Mary all the way back to 2009. You can't make that call. And especially a non-egregious call. That wasn't an egregious pass interference call, not at all. I don't see how you can make that play. And let's take a step back. I'm not one to sit here and blame officials, but I don't think the Harrison Smith hit was a penalty. I think that was a good aggressive play, and that was not egregious either. He was trying to get his shoulder and his body in there, and it inadvertently got his helmet down there, and he used the crown of his helmet rule. Then you get the Jeff Gladney on Mike Evans' DPI in the end zone when Evans slips and falls. That all of a sudden put them now in a position to jump over the goal line on a 1-yard touchdown. So there's 10 points on the field goal on the Hail Mary, the Gladney phantom DPI in the end zone. That's 10 points. And you get 10 points missed by Dan Bailey. It's just the train went off its tracks, and it's not always our fault, but it was just too much to overcome.
Yeah, 5 penalties today, 71 yards. PA, I want to talk about the positives here, though. Dalvin Cook, 22 carries, rushed for 100 yards, the first running back to rush for 100 yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. Coming into this game, the Buccaneers, everybody was talking about how they're the best defense in the NFL. Granted, they have some really good guys up front. But, hey, this offensive line, they did what they had to do to get Dalvin Cook over 100 yards.
Yeah, man, you can have that whole thing. It pissed me off a little bit during the week on my radio show on KFAN and hearing some other people basically make it sound like you got to throw every play because they give up 74 yards a game, 3.2 yards per carry, number 1 in the NFL. We have Dalvin Cook. We have the best running back in the NFL. And so running on Tampa Bay was a zero concern of mine today. What sucks is the Vikings played a game that was requisite. They could have beaten the Bucs today with Dalvin doing that, Cousins until they became past predictable and started getting sacked basically every play, and, of course, the missed kicks. We left money on the table today, boys. They could have beaten the Buccaneers today. They didn't. Yeah, man, but that Tampa Bay rush defense, I respect it. It's good. That Devin White, second-year LSU, he's good. His kryptonite is pass coverage, and believe me, if they make the playoffs, people will figure that out quickly.
For sure. And Ben, it wasn't what Tom Brady did today. He didn't even throw for over 200 yards. I mean, we had more total yards. What was it for this Vikings defense to not be able to, shut down this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense?
Well, the thing is, like, when you look at right before the 2-minute warning at the end of the game where they're just milking the clock, we were under 300 yards total offense given up as a defense.
Yeah.
That's winning football.
That's winning football.
And we really only gave up 2 explosive pass plays down in the passing game. That's it. I mean, they played winning football. You would love to see, turnovers and all this other stuff, more pressure on the quarterback. But all that being said, you can see why our margin for error in any game is so slim.
Yeah.
And that's how slim it is. That you can play really well as a defense, minus Eric Kendricks, minus a bunch of other players, and still be in the football game and still be competitive.
PA, final thoughts heading into the Chicago Bears next week.
Yeah, the final home game here at U.S. Bank Stadium, then at New Orleans Christmas Day, at Ford Field to close it. And, there was a lot of emphasis put on today's game as being the biggest of the season, and it was for that game because the Bucs were 7-5, now 8-5, and we're now 6-7. But if you had won today and lost to the Bears or lost to the Lions, man, I mean, what good was today? It certainly beats the alternative, winning today's game. But if you want to have a hope to make the playoffs, you got to win out. That's the end of the story.
Lastly, Ben, really quick, final thoughts.
Well, basically, we walked into this game thinking if we won, the probability said we're about a 75% chance to make the playoffs. And if you lose this game, you're about a 25%, give or take a few percentage points. But basically, a 50% decline and drop-off in probability of making the playoffs. If you lose this game, we lost the game. So do we still have a chance? Yes, but it's looking less and less. And I think that's the downfall of dropping this game is, yeah, there's still some hope, but not a lot.
Not a lot, but the only way up is forward. So the Chicago Bears up next right here at the bank. The Vikings got to take care of business, guys. For Nacho Leber, for PA, I'm Gabe Henderson. This is Between the Lines, fueled by Gatorade.